Okay, the inside of the upper hull has been rewired and everything's pretty much complete. It's ready to go back together. It's now just got two cables that'll come down, the 8-pin connector and the trigger switch. For the 3-pin, I went ahead and put in a plug right there. If this thing will focus, we'll see. I put in a plug so that if it does become entangled, I think the worst thing that'll happen is it'll pull out from that plug. And that's just a homemade plug that runs over. You can see the red, black, and green wire runs over to the daughter board. The turret rotation motor, I just coiled up the wires and tucked them up underneath the turret rotation mechanism. Then it plugs right in at the 2-pin. The headlight and machine gun wires have been extended and are held in place with the zap glue. You can see now the masking tape is gone. That glue will hold in place great. It won't go anywhere until I want it to. The machine gun LED is plugged in. The other light, the wire runs along right underneath there and comes out at the back and runs up to the daughter board. So everything is pretty much in place and ready to go. The trigger switch will plug into this socket right here that goes down to the 5-pin plug where the trigger switch goes in, and it also has the lead that runs down to the Komodo board. This tank has a Komodo board, and one thing about the Panzer IV that's kind of nifty is that the Komodo will plug right down into that well next to the battery box. You can see it plugged down in there. One good thing about the new version gearboxes is that they come with nice long motor leads. So I took my solder iron and right here I made the appropriate hole in the lower hull to pass the wires through the gusset and into the MFU. The other wire for power comes back and runs over to the new position on the on-off switch. I went ahead and changed out that switch that I was using previously for the on-off for the smoke because it was a little shaky. And that just runs over and underneath the MFU and then up to the smoke unit switch. Since we're keeping the stock electronics, that made things a lot easier. I've picked up some of these flat 8-pin plugs on eBay, and I like them a lot because if you take care when you assemble the tank, because this won't have a lift-off top now, we're keeping the stock configuration. So if you take care with the flat ones, they fold right in there, and they'll sit right down real nice. One really bad thing about the Panzer IVs is that it does make it very difficult to refill the smoke unit. You pretty much have to remove the 8 screws and take the top off to get to the smoke. That's one of the reasons why on mine I really want to put a hatch in the back so that I can refill the smoke without having to open the tank. One of these days I'll do a Panzer IV and I will have a lift off top and I'll do all the bracing and all that stuff. But I got so many other tanks to work on. It's not a real high priority. My Panzer IV isn't. But this one, like I said, keep saying it's for a customer, so we'll get it all fixed up for him, and it's pretty much ready to go now as far as the basic mechanicals and electronics are concerned. One thing about these metal road wheels, they come off. Sometimes that press fit doesn't work that great and you end up having to super glue them on. Now one thing I do on these metal road wheels that I kind of cheat, I don't paint the insides. I just leave it alone in there, because if you paint it, you're just going to end up interfering with the press fits and stuff like that, and you really can't see it from the outside. You can't really tell on the rest of these road wheels that they're not painted in between. But anyway, everything went together real nice on the new hull that Brett was really great about sending. Everything's good to go. Now the real work starts. Now I can get it down and get started on it. All the detail on the upper hull, the airbrushing and shading and weathering, and attach the tools and all that good stuff. So that's where it sits right now. We'll see you next time.